What the heck am I giving my dog? It's this weird orange stuff. Hey, it's Thomas DeLauer with PuraTHRIVE, and today I'm going to talk about the correlation between human health, dog health, and why PuraTHRIVE turmeric might be something that you should consider giving to Fido and not just yourself. You see, dogs end up facing a lot of the same issues that we end up facing, a lot of the same diseases. They deal with blood clots, they deal with heart disease, they deal with inflammation, and believe it or not, later on in life, they end up dealing with dementia and Alzheimer's just like we do. So there's a lot of reasons why we should be treating our pets very, very similar to how we would treat ourselves, especially when it comes to inflammation. But what exactly is inflammation? How does it work inside a dog's body? You see, when you have an injury or when you have any kind of infection or any kind of thing like that, your body sends a lot of plasma to a given area. That's why it swells up. And when it does this, it's also restricting blood flow, but it's also allowing dead cells to be evacuated. And because of that, it usually gets warm. That's why when you bump your elbow or you have an infection, it gets red and it gets warm. The problem is when it comes to our pets, we can't always see that. We can't always feel that because they have fur. We can't feel when they're getting red and swollen and everything like that. So we just kind of have to trust that they're going to tell us, which they don't always do a good job of doing. But I use this analogy because I think it'll help it make a lot more sense when I explain cellular inflammation. That same inflammation that's happening in a joint where it gets red and swollen happens inside our cells too, and it happens inside our dog's cells as well. And this can happen from eating the same kind of foods over and over again. It can happen from eating the wrong foods or a lot of grains. And we need to be taking the steps to be able to control it. And honestly, turmeric is one of the best ways that you can do that. I want to reference a study that particularly took dogs that were using both non-steroidal anti-inflammatories and curcumin in two separate situations. And the results are pretty alarming. You see, what ended up being found was that the dogs that took non-steroidal anti-inflammatories had less of a result than dogs that were taking turmeric curcumin. You see, curcumin actually decreased the gene expression associated with inflammation and the cells that can trigger inflammation. What that means is it slowed down the reproduction of those cells, meaning the inflammation response was significantly less with curcumin than it was with an actual NSAID drug. Obviously, a lot more of a healthy choice for your pet than giving it pills. What I've found a lot of times is that people don't always realize their dogs are suffering from things like arthritis. Okay, this day and age, we're all working so much, we have a series of weekend warrior dogs, okay? Dogs that go out on the weekends when their muscles and their tendons and their joints aren't really prepared for all the activity that is thrown at them on the weekends. So they're lounging around all week, and then all of a sudden we have them do a lot of activity on the weekends. That generates a lot of arthritis. So when we can find that studies are proving that curcumin can help reduce the inflammation in the joints and reduce gene expression so they have less cellular inflammation in general, it's a pretty powerful thing. But let me explain how it does this really quick. See, it comes down to the bioactive component of turmeric known as curcumin. You see, what curcumin does is it actually inhibits the production of tumor necrosis factor, TNF1 alpha, and also these things called interleukins. Timmy doesn't really like interleukins. Apparently not. What are you doing? Anyway, so essentially what it's doing is it's stopping the overall production, but it also inhibits the production of nuclear kappa B, which is the main interleukin, the main protein that triggers inflammation. But to add insult to injury and make everything amazing, does your dog have digestive issues? Well, turmeric has been shown to help the bile be a little bit more potent. It helps the gallbladder produce more of it and a more concentrated form of it. And since dogs essentially end up needing about 20% of fat in their diet, all the help that they can get is definitely needed. So if they take some turmeric and you give them just a little boost, it can help their digestion so they're not dealing with constipation or diarrhea. So as always, keep it locked in here with PuraTHRIVE. And I think Timmy wants some more turmeric. Hey, that's the bottle, not the whole bottle. That's for the other dogs too. This dog goes crazy for turmeric. All right, PuraTHRIVE, I'll see you in the next video.